Hello, what's up, Facebook family? How you doing? And for those of you watching on replay, what's going on? My name's Dr.Nima Rahmany. For those of you who don't know me yet, meeting me for the first time, what's up, Alex? I wanted to share with you something here as I am here on my morning walk. To give you a little picture of what's going on this morning in downtown Vancouver. It is a little bit cloudy, but I wanted to share with you a few things on, hey, what's up, Deb? How you doing? I got a little something special for you today. A little thought after I just went to the gym and taking Lucy here and taking Lucy and Olive here on our little morning walk. Something I wanted to share with you regarding navigating yourself through turbulent times. And this was one of those things that became very apparent to me when I was going through a difficult transition. So perhaps you might be going through a transitional type of anxiety. You're going through a breakup. You might be going through an uncertainty with your job or career. You really want to step up. You want to get to the next level. Kathleen, I'm going to see you in Toronto in about 6 weeks. I look forward to seeing you, by the way. Everything that I'm sharing with you guys, I'm going to be doing my overview experience in Toronto, Mississauga, actually, at the Gurgis Estate near the airport in mid-October after my trip to Australia, where I'm doing the overview experience in Brisbane. And what keeps coming up when I meet people, when I travel and I speak and I work with individuals who are going through a transitional anxiety, feeling like they're going through a difficult, challenging time, I look back when I was in my really dark period after I transitioned, after I sold my chiropractic practice, and I was sitting and I had no idea where to go. I didn't know what my next move was. And I went through a few key shifts that when I applied them, helped me transition through a very dark and turbulent time. It was really important. Hey, what's up, Luigi? It was really important for me to get through that because it got so bad that all of a sudden when I left my practice, I felt purposeless. I felt like I didn't know who I was anymore. Perhaps you can relate to this. Perhaps you can relate during a turbulent time when stress hormones are high. Your neocortex, which is your creative center of the brain, pretty much almost shuts down. The blood flow shunts away from there and goes to your fight or flight and freeze centers, and survival becomes really the most important thing. So really thinking about creativity and contribution and all of that stuff gets, falls by the wayside. And when you're going through a turbulent time, maybe there's a relationship breakdown that's happening for you. Maybe there's problems going on at work, or you're ready to make that move. This is what I call transitional anxiety. The way that you navigate through that difficult time, there's about 3 key things that you're going to need to really put pedal to the metal. Hopefully, my goal is that you really get this and take it to heart and use this to take action. I've been a chiropractor for 16 years helping people with stress-related disorders, and I got frustrated at the fact that people were coming in for stress-related problems, physical manifestation of emotional issues. So if you can relate to this, please like or love or share this or tag somebody that you know who's going through a really turbulent time. Like and share. I really appreciate that. It helps to get the word out and more people to really understand and get the message behind it. The research has been done that shows that if you can assign meaning behind your challenges, behind your struggles, then you can get through a dark and turbulent time much easier than if you didn't assign meaning to it. Let me give you an example. If you've ever been married, you've ever prepared for a wedding, and you knew that you needed to lose weight. You knew that the photos you're going to be taking photos, and you didn't want to look like a, obese whale for your photographs. You're likely going to enroll in some sort of an exercise program within yourself. Hey, Kava, you're going to enroll in an exercise program within yourself. If you can assign a meaning to the struggle each and every day of going to the gym, of enduring that challenge, what happens is you're able to breeze through it. Why? Because there's meaning behind the pain. There's meaning behind the struggle. So that's why when I have a program, it's a 90-day program called Powerfully Aligned, the very first thing I get everybody to do is to create a mission statement for yourself. Because whatever darkness that you're going through, whatever transition, I help people who are going through relationship transition, perhaps a breakup, or they're, should I stay or should I go? It's kind of like limbo. Or they're moving on to a new career, or they want to move out of their job, or they want to figure out what their purpose is. The very first thing we do is to set an intention. To set an intention, because without an intention, you're wasting your time. If there is no intention, if there's no vision, if there's no purpose beyond what's happening in this moment, then the chances of you being able to endure the dark times, which is a part of reality, part of hard times, part of living, you know, living in this planet, is that you're going to have pleasure and pain, you're going to have support and challenge. The challenging, the negative emotions, if we can assign a meaning to them, become more endurable. So I'm asking you this question is, if you're going through a challenging time, if you have this North Star, this mission, this purpose that you can assign meaning to, then guess what happens to what you're going through? Guess what happens to the challenge? Guess what happens to the struggle? You get that the climb is part of the dance. You understand and you get and you actually embrace that this is a dance that has some sort of a purpose. So without a purpose, without a vision, as they say in the Bible, as it says in the Bible, without a vision, we perish. So what is your vision? If you, and so your mission statement, basically what I'm going to encourage you to get started in writing, hey Kat, what up, is what you're going to be, what you'd love to do, and what you would love to have. And once you connect with that, and I connect with it each and every day. I'm about to sit down and do some meditation and visualization and really listen in on a recording of myself reciting my mission statement. What that does is, especially when you do it in the morning, it sets the day up so that you can actually, whatever comes your way, you have the ability to see it as on the way rather than in your way. And simply by doing that little mind shift, that little adjustment to your perception, you become more powerful. You have more freedom and resilience. Because rather than looking at no end goal, you don't have the fight to be able to turn through it, get through it. So the second thing I'm going to encourage you to do as far as navigating through dark times is to make peace with your dark passenger. Now, what do I mean by that? Your dark passenger is that little voice inside your head that whispers to you, that says, you're not good enough, you're not worthy of love, you're not enough, I'm not enough. And that little voice has come to us from interpretations of past events, whether daddy, left you, abandoned you, mother was abusive to you, you were bullied in school. My clients usually have a long list of things, of events that happened in their lives that, based on what happened, we turned around and made meaning out of it. And that meaning was, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy of love, and I'm stupid, I'm lazy, I'm worthless. Okay? Now, this little voice of the dark passenger has two roles. The first role is to keep you centered. When you get too cocky, you get too elated, you think you're greater than other people, you're out of that level of service. So the dark passenger shows up and sabotages you to humble you, to bring you back into equilibrium with where your mission and purpose lies, which is really about fair exchange. It's not that you're better or worse. A self-actualized individual doesn't see themselves as better or worse than other people. Hey, what's up, Michelle? self-actualized individual doesn't see themselves as better or worse than other people. They just see themselves having a unique voice and wanting to serve a specific function in society. And so that dark passenger that we have really plays the role of actually keeping us centered. That's the first role. The second role that it has is, it's a call to action. When you get rejected, when something bad happens to you that you perceive as in your way, boom, you get that little voice of the dark passenger that says that you're not good enough and you're not worthy of love, and it's actually a call into action. It's painful enough to get you into action. And usually that is letting you know that you're making it all about you. You're making the story about you. And that dark passenger, the role of the dark passenger is to let you know that you're off purpose. You're off mission. You're off your vision, which always involves serving other people, deciding who you'd love to be, and knowing what it is that you'd love to do in order to be that, and then in exchange what it is that you'd love to receive. So the dark passenger's voice is, the second step to really navigating through difficult times is to make peace with your dark passenger. Is when it shows up, you don't judge it, you just see it as, oh, there it is again. And the second that you're able to identify it, you are the watcher of the feelings and the symptoms. Most people are living in a state of dark passenger, in a state of trial and tribulation, stress hormones, and we are numbing and sedating. Now, when you get those two things right, having a mission and a purpose, and making peace with your dark passenger, when you get those two things right, when you don't have those things right, a challenge becomes the end of the world. A challenge comes up, that voice of the dark passenger comes up, and then we start to downward spiral. We go further and further in the hole, and we become less resilient. And what happens is, we then start looking around and gathering evidence, and all we see in the evidence that we're gathering is confirmation of our incompetence, confirmation that we are just not good enough, confirmation of the fact that we have completely forgotten our higher selves of who we truly are. See, I don't know, I might not know you right now, I might not have worked with you yet, but I've worked with enough people to know that who you really are is actually here to serve. Who you really are is, according to what the Baha'i prayer says, a hollow reed from which you have the capacity to actually allow God's love, or universal force, universal intelligence, whatever you want to call it, God's love to flow through you and allow other people to be uplifted. That's who you truly are. You have talents and strengths and abilities, but unfortunately, when the dark passenger has flown, when you haven't, is in the driver's seat, when the dark passenger is in the driver's seat, God bless you, Kathleen. Hey, what's up, Lori? Hey, what up, Alok? When the dark passenger is in the driver's seat, what up, Odile? God bless you from India. My peeps from India. What happens is when the dark passenger is in the driver's seat, you completely shut off in your neocortex, which you've forgotten your greatest strengths, your absolute superpowers, and now you're in the lower mind itself. And if you don't get this right, all you see is confirmation of your incompetence. Somebody walks by you and bumps into you, and you say, oh my God, there it is again. More evidence that I'm a piece of crap. When you don't get this right, you tend to isolate. You tend to run away from other people. You tend to not want to connect with other people. You don't want to see other people. Your relationships start to break down. Why? Because you make everything about you. But when you get those two specifics, getting the mission statement down and really making peace with your dark passenger and really loving that dark passenger, because that dark passenger is also your dark warrior. It's where your strength is. In order for you to function in society, in order to get what you want, in order to become successful in business, there's got to be a little bit of that dark warrior within you. You got to be able to really use it as a tool. Otherwise, what ends up happening, hey, Gisela, what's up? I'm coming to Toronto in a few weeks. Hope to see you there. Send me a private message. By the way, I'm teaching these fundamentals in two places coming up in the next few weeks. Brisbane, Australia in a couple weeks, and we're going to be in Toronto, Ontario at October 14th and 15th, where I'm going to be training you how to dance with this dark passenger. There's Olive right here. She's saying hello. How to dance with your dark passenger. Hey, what's up, Travis? When you learn how to do this, when you learn properly, hey, Gisela, I'm gonna reach out to you. We're gonna have a chat with you and see what it is, that intention that you'd love to create for the weekend. When you learn how to get this right, and I train you how to do this in a weekend workshop, but I have a 90-day program where you master this. When a trigger comes up, boom, you have a step-by-step action plan so that you can get back into your power. But over the weekend workshop, what I do is we go into the old stories of your life. So I want you to right now think about in your life where you had rejection, where you had abandonment, where you had feelings of inadequacy because of a bullying situation, or perhaps your boyfriend dumped you or cheated on you or whatever. One of my clients, when she was 15 years old, she kind of was, the victim to a date rape. And in that moment, at the age of 15, she had decided, what up, Megan? At that moment, at the age of 15, she had decided that she was not worthy. So that little voice of that dark passenger carried her through, and if we don't get this right, what happens is it destroys relationships, because we unconsciously look for gathering evidence to support whatever story we choose. But if the dark passenger's in the driver's seat and we're not connected to a cause or a vision that's greater than us, this turbulent time that can be breezed through and it being our stepping stone into our power actually becomes the reason why we go into a downward spiral, into depression, into suicide, into feelings of inadequacy and unworthiness. And like in Megan's case, I'm going to share it with you because you've been so open about it, isolation, where we completely block opportunities for other people, our loved ones, to reach out to us because we don't feel worthy of it. So when you're going through these dark and turbulent times, number one, having a mission statement that you can connect to, that's critical, so that you can see that what's in the way is actually on the way. That's the first step. And number two, bro, I love you, man. Love you too, bro. You too, keep serving. And number two, learning how to dance with your dark passenger when it shows up, because it will, sometimes daily, depending on what's going on. And if you set your day up right to either be in stress hormone mode or in creative intention mode, that's your choice. And you can, through the activities, through action steps, and through discipline, make sure that your mindset is actually, the right part of your brain is working, and you start your days off and you sleep properly. Your subconscious mind is getting the information from you that actually supports the greatest version of you. If you do those things and you get them right, you become resilient. You become a badass at actually handling stressful situations. That whole, oh my God, what if, turns into, I got this. And this all became very apparent to me when I wasn't doing the work last summer. I was in a dark place, and I was really just in such despair because I had just lost my identity, that my dark passenger was in the driver's seat, and I didn't really want to move forward. I didn't want to go on. And the third thing, number three, in how to navigate through dark times, what I wanted to share with you is to get yourself an Obi-Wan Kenobi. Finding that mentor, finding somebody who can give you what's called strategic feedback. Somebody who isn't like your mother or your partner who's just gonna, just have their own agenda. Finding an Obi-Wan, finding a mentor, investing in a mentor who is paid to only listen to and hear and support the greatest version of you that you declared from the beginning, and not pay attention, not listen to anything other than that story. When you don't have that right, you're going to go to a counselor or a shrink and consistently, constantly, every single day hear, tell your little victim story of, poor me, I'm such a piece of crap and I'm not worthy, and the dark passenger's in the driver's seat, and they keep you stuck in that state and just kind of like blow smoke up your butt. Week after week, you go back and you get nothing done. I've talked to so many of my clients that, one of my clients, Shamila, she was stuck in massive anxiety. She couldn't go to Costco without a panic attack. And when she talked, she was going to a counselor and going every single week and telling her story. And what I explained to her was, okay, it's been a year. You've been telling this story. Have you gotten any further? No. And the reason being is if you select a mentor that listens and supports your victim story, then you are wasting your time and money. So when she jumped into the program, I had her list all of her story. We submitted a mission statement that she could set. Take care, Kathleen. We'll see you in a couple weeks. She committed to a vision and a mission statement that was greater. See what happens. A lot of times when hi.
Oh, no.
A lot of times when I have the dogs, people just want to come and take pictures of the dogs. So wherever I take Lucy, we always have people, when I put her outside the restaurant or whatever, people come up and they want to take pictures of Lucy, and so I should start charging for it. Excuse me, ma'am. $5 per photo. I'm just kidding. $5. E-transfer is just fine. E-transfer. So it happens all the time. Wherever I go, people are like, oh my God, especially Japanese girls. They're like, oh my God, I think you're so cute. Can I take a picture of your dog? So anyway, that's my bad Japanese English accent. So finding a mentor, finding somebody that can actually give you strategic feedback and really help you create the greatest version of herself. And so within 3 months, not only did Shamila's panic attacks and anxiety was gone, she was able to dance whenever her dark passenger showed up. She was able to dance with it, but she restored a relationship with her ex-husband that was no longer, in a restraining order situation. And number 2, her and her son had a broken down relationship for 7 years, and she restored that relationship just by changing her story and having strategic feedback, because I was not going to allow her to continue with her little victim story of suffering. So navigating through difficult times. Hey, Christelle, for those of you who just joined, please go back and watch the replay. There's 3 key things that you need to do in order to help yourself navigate through dark times. Create a mission statement that is congruent with your values. Number 2, learn how to dance with your dark passenger. And number 3, which is find an Obi-Wan, find a mentor. Hey, what's up, J. Paul? Find a mentor that will only see and listen to and support the greatest version of you. So if you are going to be, if you could come and join us at the overview experience in Brisbane or Toronto, October 14th, 15th, or in the UK, December 2nd and 3rd, I'm going on a little bit of a tour, teaching people how to dance with their dark passengers. The reason why I'm doing this is because as a chiropractor, I realized that stress is the #1 cause of why people came in the first place. And I felt like I wasn't doing enough in my office with just my hands. And I felt that giving people the adjustment above Atlas was going to be the greatest gift, to give them tools so that they can then heal from their anxiety. All right, Debbie, we'll be in touch, hon. Heal from their anxiety. Get more power within their relationships, more powerful relationships. It's like a meeting there. Hey, what's up? And so, hey, what's up, Lauren? And so that is why I'm doing this work, is to be able to see, like in Lauren's case, to gain power within herself, go from a dark place to start to feel more congruent with her higher self. And the natural result, like in Lauren's case that I've been working with, and I'm witnessing and watching and seeing the transformation, is your heart fills with so much love and gratitude that dark time, that dark period that you went through, all of a sudden you realize that there's other people that need you. So creating meaning, a vision for yourself through the dark time, so that you realize that it's not about you, and that your fulfillment comes when you're of service to other people. And that's who I want to work with. So if this is resonating with you, please reach out. Send me a private message. I'd love to start a conversation. If you don't know what your vision and mission statement is, you don't know what your values are, send me a message. We can start a conversation and to see what your next steps would be. And I'm really interested in seeing what kind of a dark time that you're going through, what's your ideal intention that you'd love to have within 60 days, within 90 days, within 6 months that you're not experiencing right now, because we pretend like we're going to live forever. And I really love working with people who have this urgency and realization that time is passing by. They don't need to think about it. They've been sitting on themselves for months to years. Thank you so much, Maureen, for sharing. Please share this. If this is resonating with you, please share and tag somebody. Send some hearts, some love, because it helps to get the word out. And there's people out there that are struggling, that are taking medications, that are sedating themselves, numbing themselves, isolating themselves, simply because they haven't made those 3 key steps that I mentioned in this video. And I would just absolutely love it if I was able to point somebody in the right direction to empower their lives, to get power and freedom, full self-expression, self-actualization, all of those amazing things that, once it's there, health restores from the inside out. So this is especially important for people who are dealing with a chronic illness, especially with people who are facing a diagnosis. Your diagnosis is your wake-up call to start to do this kind of work and make some sort of a meaning out of your life. And if you're going through a dark time, just know that there's help for you. And just like last year, I reached out and I got help, and it was the greatest decision of my life. And finding an Obi-Wan that really saw and only listened to the greatest version of me, within 60 days, I didn't recognize who I was. And so I absolutely love being able to help transform other people. So please do reach out. I'm happy to be of service, and tag somebody that you know, and let's continue the conversation. Join the Art of Powerful Alignment Facebook group and ask me any questions, and I'm happy to assist you. May, what's up, girl? How is California? Haven't seen you in a long time. Are there any questions? If there's any questions, May, you just joined us. Make sure you rewind, go back and hear this post again. I just finishing up, and please tag somebody that you know who needs to hear this, and share this with your community, with your groups, with your Facebook groups, and because there's people out there that don't really know, that are covering, sedating themselves, and they can actually turn things around. God bless you, and I hope to see you at the next perfect time somewhere in the world.